Scots wearing the navy blue of Victoria.
He uses his feet and goes again through mid-wicket. That's an even better shot from the Victorian captain.
Swept away very nicely by Nicole Bolton for 4.
Oh, he's been given! That is 50. The man from Northcote.
Welcome to the Vic State Cricket Podcast, and I'm Adam White, but I'm absolutely rapt, thrilled to have the captain of Victoria with us, Will Sutherland. Will, welcome.
Thanks, Whitey.
It's the first time I've gone one-on-one with you. We've had you up with your sister before, but not just yourself. How would you describe the last couple of weeks?
Look, personally, it's been a little bit up and down, but yeah, I think put the Victorian hat on, it's been amazing. Still up and down as well, really. We lost to South Australia, both games, the Shield game and the one day, and we were doing our best to not panic and start changing things, changing teams, changing strategy and all sorts. And then we bounced back with a nice one day win to start things off, and then a Shield win. So it shows cricket's a very fickle game, and you've just got to keep trusting your processes and your players, because you can turn it around within a week, and now the boys are riding high.
How are you as a watcher?
I'm better when I'm not playing. Shocking when you're in 3-4 wickets, because you're just nervous the whole time and always ready to get the pads on. But it's been nice to sit up with the coaches and sort of hear what they talk about, and actually almost put a bit of a coach's hat on and sort of see what the strategy is out on the ground, and not have to worry about putting the pads on in an hour's time.
Are you learning more about your cricket, or more about leadership when you're sitting up with the coaches and watching a day unfold?
I think in general the last few weeks, leadership, trying to not, make it about me, being really happy for other guys' success, and, just being in the change rooms and trying to be happy for the boys that they've won, not like, I wish I was out there and that sort of thing. So, but then, there is plenty of, it's a good time for me to learn about the other bowlers, I think, in particular, because normally when I'm playing it, I'm thinking about my own bowling and batting. Trying to see, what Sammy's working on or what Crony's working on, and when I come back and captain after Big Bash, I'll be more understanding of their game, hopefully.
So when you've got Pete coming in and stepping in and helping out in captaining, something he's done a lot over the years, do you let him do it his way, or are you ingrained now with you in charge that the players do it a certain way, and Pete's kind of changed it a little bit to suit what you want them to do? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. No, definitely let Pete do his thing. I think, we're lucky that not too long ago he was the captain, and it's not, we're not going to someone completely new and he's retired or something. So hand the reins back to him, and most of the boys would have played under him. And then, we're just in discussion every now and then, maybe in a lunch break, or try and catch up, around a game, just to, even as an experienced player, just, he notices things that I probably don't, and just being in constant communication, so that, when I do come back, it's a seamless transition. And last year he was doing the one days and I was doing the Shield, so we got quite good at sort of handing the reins back and forth.
What did you like from the WA experience? So the win in the One Day Cup from a mile back, and then a grinding win, but it was an impressive win, and being able to beat WA in the 4 days of the Shield. Yeah,
I think the one day win, probably the odds were completely against us there. Lost the toss on a wicket that was doing quite a lot. I think Sam Harper's knock was probably the highlight of that whole week. That wicket was doing everything, and for him to make 60 on a wicket like that was worth 100 at least. So we did well to win that game, and things went pretty seamlessly in the Shield game, probably as you'd expect in a normal Shield win. We just got it done, won the toss, and bowled as we probably should have, which we didn't do in Adelaide. That was probably the reason that the game got away from us there. So to see the boys bowl well and bowl them out for 100, 160, you set yourself pretty nicely at the junction to get the job done.
You've got this big bowling, it's almost like a pitching staff where so many can come in and do a role, and there's it's marginal, the difference in quality between the lot of them. How do you manage that as a captain? In this particular game, Mitch Perry misses out. Obviously, you're out of the side injured. Cam McClure misses out, but they can all come in and come out at any one time. Is that a difficult management process, leadership process?
Yeah, I think it is. It's hard to get the selection right at any given time. But I think from a squad point of view, it's great because, we've got these 4 bowling spots available, or probably, with Ferg and Barrel, there's maybe 2 spots available, and you've got 5 guys going for it. So there's clearly a situation there where 2 guys can put their hand up, and if they play a few good games in a row, they've got that spot for potentially the rest of their careers. And I think in the batting, it's a similar thing as well. With when Shorty comes back in, you've got Merlot performing well. Ollie Pegg's going to be around pretty soon, so you got these guys that are going to be coming in and putting pressure on 1 or 2 batting spots as well. So it's a good spot to be as a group. When we play like we did the other day, there's clearly some depth there in the squad. So yeah, hopefully the cream rises to the top, and there's a few quality players that come out of it, and we start to get a really set 11.
Is that challenging for you as a leader when you've got someone like Mitch who misses out, who has been a mainstay for a long time, in how to manage that? Because again, it's that holistic view of we need a squad to win a title. You are such a close group, but then when a popular member misses out, how do you go about that as a leader?
Yeah, well, as a leader, I think one of the hardest things for me is being such good friends with Mitch as well, and a lot of the other guys, all those bowlers are sort of my age. So, I think we've got a good relationship where we can have serious conversations with each other. And, he was probably a little bit unlucky, but he knows he's got a little bit of work to do. He's played a fair bit now, and we want him sort of, as he was last year, pushing Aussie A and Australian selection. So it might be a good opportunity just for him to play this second 11 game down in Tasmania and, show us what he can, what he normally does, get back to his best, and then come back in and start putting pressure on the other boys as well. So, I think it's a good thing for me as a leader to be able to have these hard conversations with guys my age, and I'll probably leave the initial phone call to Buck and he can drop them, but then a few days later I'm happy to talk to the boys, and I'll be playing that twos game, which is going to be awesome to be able to work with him.
We'll get to your situation shortly, because it is exciting that you're going to be back playing some cricket. How do you describe, if you had to describe yourself as a leader, how would you describe yourself as a leader? Because at 24, 25 to be doing what you're doing is quite remarkable.
Thanks, Whitey. I think lead by example is the thing that I aspire to do. I've said it a few times. Scotty Boland gave me the best advice when I got given the Shield captaincy, is make sure that your runs and wickets are still number one and still happening. I think you can get too absorbed in the captaincy and start to let your performance sort of drop a little bit, and then I think you can lose a little bit of credibility. And I mean, that's why I'm in the team, is to get wickets and make runs as well. So I don't want to lose that. But then I want to be, I think, an aggressive captain. I grew up watching Michael Clark captain. I think he was someone I really loved. He was always aggressive, not afraid to sort of, if nothing was happening in the game, make a bit of a bold decision, and just really trust his gut. And I want to trust my gut. I think a lot of the times you get those random thoughts that come to your mind when you're out in the field, and like more often than not they're right. So I always kick myself if I don't sort of back my instincts and go off that.
Because do you think leadership is a thing that comes naturally to you, or is it something that you've had to learn along the way? Because I know you've captained a lot of sort of junior representative teams on the way through, school cricket, etc. Is it something that you found natural?
I think so. I'm probably lucky that I did get that exposure at a young age. Like talking to the group, I guess those other things apart from just tactics on ground that come with leadership, I'm probably lucky that I was had some exposure to that at a young age. But I think people can sort of come in and be good understanders of the game, and captain as well. So I was just probably lucky that I got exposed to that sort of those other sides of leadership at a young age, and I think it was good just to I think from being a bowler as well definitely helps with sort of understanding the bowling changes. I love Paddy Cummins. The fact that he's Australian captain as a fast bowler is good to see. So I think that helps my understanding with fields and bowling changes as well.
How do you go talking to Boland, Harris, Hanscom? Trying to think of all the senior players in the team. They're a bit older.
Not many anymore.
Yeah, that's right. They're running out. How do you find that? Can that be challenging, or have you got that relationship that it's not challenging when it comes to whether I don't think you have to do it often necessarily, but to pull those sort of guys into line?
Yeah, I think It hasn't been an issue really. Scotty's so good helping me with particularly bowling changes and his understanding of the game. And I'd probably normally let him pretty much decide, how long he wants to bowl a spell or when we're going to bring him on, the timing, at the end of a day or when we're pushing for a win on day 4, sort of, when do you think's the right time for you to go and you'll bowl for the rest of the day. And then Pete and Harry, they'll just go, what about this or what about that? And I don't find it too hard to say no, and then it's great when they do have a good idea that I like and go with that. So, very, very blessed to have, I guess, two, Harry and Pete as batters and Barlow to lean on with the bowling stuff. It's great.
Yeah, so it does help, doesn't it? So the reason I ask those questions is because you've got the Renegades captaincy. You've done a little bit of it previously, but to actually now have that sort of fills the portfolio. You've got the white ball and red ball for Victoria and now the Renegades. How special was that to get that officially now?
Yeah, it's nice. Again, something I probably do want to do. Like it's been around the Gades for a while and seen us not do so well. Obviously, we won the BBL 08, but it's been a bit of a tough run. So, trying to be, I guess, one of the guys that gets us back to the top and, getting an opportunity to captain and lead that way is really exciting. So, did 4 games last year, which, I liked. It's probably the most high-pressure environment I've probably captained in. Just with the time pressure and the crowd, it's sort of harder to think and something that I don't have as much experience in. But, as well, I've got Richo and Zampa to help me out who've done a lot of captaining in T20, so leaning on those guys and, hopefully we can get back up to the top.
And you've got a coach that captained Australia in T20 cricket, and probably one of the best tacticians we've seen in Australian cricket in Cameron White. I mean, that must give you or fill you with a lot of confidence that you've got him on your side now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so excited to work with him. We're able to go to Darwin even for that top-end series and, I was able to start working with him. He's, just the way he thinks about the game is nothing like I've seen. So, he's not going to hold back and challenge me on, why I did this or why I did that. And, I'm very excited to learn more about the game, particularly T20, just because I haven't captained it much. And, hopefully he can save us a few runs out in the field, as a coach.
So how do you talked about the frustrations of the last few years with the Renegades. Now it's your team and Cameron White's team, I guess, as well. Will you do it significantly differently? Have you thought much about that yet, or do we have to wait till we actually get to the Big Bash season before you start nutting down an identity, a plan, how you want to play, all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think the good thing about Whitey is he clearly backs himself as a coach and he's going to do it his way, whether that succeeds or doesn't. You'd rather go down, I think, as a coach doing it your way. So, I think from his point of view, he likes to coach batters individually and have a lot of one-on-one conversations because it's different for everyone as a batter, and then just being really clear as a bowling group, how we want to bowl, particularly at Marvel. Make that a bit of a fortress. I think if we can win those 4 home games and 1 at Geelong, it sets us up nicely for the rest of the tournament. I think our identity is clearly going to be the, Jake Fraser-McGurk and Josh Brown at the top of the order. There's clearly some power there. Tim Seifert at 3 probably. So I can't imagine the Marvel wicket will have too much in it with those 3 up the top of the order. So if those guys can get us off to a flyer, it might make my job and the bowling group's pretty easy, hopefully.
There are a lot of people that are reluctant leaders, but it feels like it's something you really love. You almost crave it. Yeah,
I think so. I don't know. It makes you more involved in the game, and I think I've got the capabilities to do it. It's time management, organisation, all that sort of stuff where I can compartmentalise, and I'm bowling and now I'm not, and I'm captaining. So it's definitely still a learning and being able to switch hats, I guess, quite quickly. And if you do get whacked, in 1 over, and then you have to captain, Zamps the next over, it's not easy. So, but just finding a way to control emotions and jump in and out of different bowling versus captaincy hat. It's a challenge, but I do love it. Yeah.
And can you push yourself up the batting order maybe a little bit?
Potentially. Again, Whitey will probably have a main say in that, but. I don't know. We'll see. It's an interesting one. I think it's more of a time thing. Coming in, maybe the 15th, 16th over is a good time for me to come in. So if that's at number 5, or if we've lost more wickets and it's at number 7, then so be it.
Okay, so let's get to your body. How frustrating was it when you had your latest setback, considering, you'd been sort of almost put in bubble wrap a little bit to start the season, and then to find yourself injured with a different injury at the start of the year? How was that when you initially found that out?
Yeah, shocking. I obviously wasn't expecting it. That was probably the main thing because I was starting to build, as you say, the bubble wrap had come off a little bit, and I was starting to feel quite good. So yeah, I kicked the cat for a few days, and I was pretty flat. Obviously, well, I'd been picked in the 1 day squad to stay in Adelaide and then go to Perth and might have got a game there. So that didn't help with the frustration, but a lot of past fast bowlers. Adam Griffiths, the bowling coach, did about 4 side injuries. He tells me it's just part of fast bowling. You're not a fast bowler until you've had a side injury. But yeah, it's just the way it goes, and it could be worse. So I've missed these Shield games, but I'll be back for Big Bash, and can put some work in on the batting as well.
Did you know when you did it what you'd done?
Yeah, I think I did. Like, you always know, you've always got that feeling about your own body, what it is. You're hopeful that it's something else, like maybe the ribs just sort of jammed or something. But yeah, I've never done a side injury, but I was pretty confident I'd done my side, yeah.
And I was at the time trying to think of the positives, if there could be positives around what you'd done. From a back point of view, can there be some benefits out of what's actually taken place?
Yeah, definitely. I think my total ball count will obviously be lower for the season, which should hopefully remove the possibility of a third stress fracture 3 seasons in a row. So that might be nice, and I'll be fresh for Big Bash, which I'm not normally after 6 Shield games to start the season, and then hopefully can be flying for those last 4 and have an impact on the group. So there's definitely positives for it, and I'm excited to be fresh for Big Bash and hopefully the rest of the Shield season.
Was the back issues, was that playing on your mind at the start of this year? Because I guess I must confess, even from my own point of view, was surprised that it was a slower start to the year until I was explained, why that was the case. Is it something that is worrying you a little bit, or is it something you think you're on top of now with having to make some alterations in your preparation?
Yeah, probably does play in the back of the mind. You always sort of feel, you've always got feeling in your back here and there, and pain comes and goes with all bowling. But I think it only comes on when you've bowled quite a lot, so it was never just going to randomly refracture. And I've made a few little tweaks with the action, and I'm really confident in them. So yeah, hopefully, just keep ticking away. It's another chance to rebuild and make a few more tweaks. And I think I'm quite confident, touch wood, that don't refracture again, and probably at an age where the bones are starting to fully develop and shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, hopefully soft tissue injuries don't start popping up all the time.
Don't talk about them. So will it mean that you have to bowl yourself less, sort of as we look sort of medium term, long term, that you're not going to, because you like to bowl a lot of overs? Is it something you're going to have to potentially sort of reel back a little bit, or do you think it's just full steam ahead?
Yeah, maybe after Big Bash, there might be a little bit of a reloading period there, but I think going forward in the years to come, I should be fine. You look at most fast bowlers, the Australian fast bowlers, bolo, they don't really hit their straps until they're sort of 27, 28. Even Pat Cummins would probably look back on his career and say, I was quite lucky that I had those stress fractures, because his total, his life ball count, I guess, is quite low, and he's able to go full steam all the time for the end of his 20s and 30s. So I think there's always positives in it here and there. I've probably bowled more than most people at 25, but maybe it is a blessing in disguise, and obviously get a few games under my belt after Christmas, and then again, touch wood, I'll be good to go for a few years to come.
And so you touched on the Australian situation. It was good and bad. It was good to know that you were highly thought of enough that you probably would have played in Perth, but then the frustration of, I was going to play for Australia and it didn't happen. So how did you cope with that?
Just a bit frustrated, but everyone goes through it. We've all had injuries, and I've sort of bit of a believer in everything happens for a reason. Might have played in Perth and got whacked, or I wasn't ready to go and perform well. So try and take the positives out of it. Again, an opportunity to rebuild and work on the batting. yeah, just keep putting the right foot forward, and yeah, hopefully trust the process, and if I play well, I'll get another opportunity at that top level, hopefully.
Do you think, having had that small sample last year against the West Indies, how often do you think about that experience you had, and that does that drive you even harder now? I want that feeling again.
Yeah, it does. It's nice to refer back to here and there, but I think my main motivator, which I've always said, is playing for the Vicks and winning, trying to play a part in a win is always the driving factor. And if higher honours come up, then that's great. But I'm always just trying to get the boys across the line and lead from the front with battle ball. It's not really like the main thing's not I desperately want to get back and play for Australia. It's like let's get the win. I want to win a Sheffield Shield and a one-day title, and with the Renegades it's I want to win the Big Bash. So they're definitely the main motivators.
So how do you assess the season for Victoria at the moment? On top of the table, ahead of before the Queensland game, the One Day Cup is going well. So that's a ladder position point of view, but the actual playing of the game, where do you think you're travelling at the moment? How do you think you're travelling at the moment?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We've seen how much the game can change in the last 2 weeks. It's you can get thumped and you turn around and win. So it's probably just tightening up on a few things. I think the bowling, it's maybe just the accuracy of the bowling group, which is it's quite basic, but just being better for longer with our line and length. And again, we've got some inexperienced guys there that will develop more and more confidence and start to be more consistent with the ball, no doubt. And then I think with the bat, if Kellers can get a score, we know how talented he is, and really lock down that number 3 spot. Tommy Rogers has been going well. Our old boys just keep getting it done, and there's probably an opening spot that's up for grabs. We can't rely on Shorty being there all the time. So you've got Chandy, Mel. I think Peaky's playing in the 2s as well. So there's, again, as I said before, there's going to be a squeeze for spots, which is great. And I hope these young guys, which I know are quite hungry, keep training hard and put their hand up, and we can start to have a really set 11 sort of after Big Bash and leading into hopefully a Shield final.
Has Fergus surprised you with what he's been able to do? Well, I mean, pretty much since he came into the team, but even as we go into this season, he sat in this chair only a month or so ago and talked about all the things he's trying to do to get better. And then we see him just get better. He keeps continually sort of raising the bar. Has that surprised you, or you always felt that he had that in him?
It probably did surprise me if I think of his debut at Karen Rolton. I didn't think he was going to be where he is now with the bowling average that he has, and definitely a batting average of what he has as well. But after he sort of had that good run a couple of years ago after Christmas, where we had those 4 Shield wins in a row, I could start to see that there was a proper player there. And I think more than anything, it's his mental strength. He always speaks about not riding the roller coaster. I think he's so level. When he does well, he's the same guy as when he doesn't do well, which is very rare. So, I guess just the trust and faith he has in his ability. He's not short on confidence, but I think that's what sort of makes him the player he is just that self-belief. And he's been challenged as well, as you say, by the selectors to keep getting better. I think his challenge, especially if he's going to play for Australia, is probably that ball speed. And even in the last game, he was pushing his normal pace up a little bit and bowling the odd bouncer. So, he's always trying to upskill as well. What's
the most important characteristic that he brings to the group? You've talked about him from a personal point of view, but is that also whether it's the confidence, it's the emotional sort of staying so calm? What is it that makes him so important to the group? Because it feels like everyone does feed off him. Now, in the past, it's been you or it's been a James Pattinson. When it comes to the bowling, that you feed off the energy that you or James brings to the group. Fergus is different, but it feels like everyone feeds off him.
Yeah, I think it's probably the bravado and the words, I guess, but he's so confident in what he says, everything he says, like he means it. It's, in a team meeting, it'd be like, we beat these guys last year, we're going to pump them again. It's throwaways, and some people might think it's arrogant or whatever, but I think, like Pato, he's so much self-belief and even on the golf course, he's like, he's got a 10-foot putt. He's like, I'm going to make this easily. It's like, I would never say something like that because I'd think I'm going to jinx it and miss it. But he's just, so confident in his own ability. And I think he's confident in his teammates as well that, as you say, we can just feed off it and let him keep doing his thing. And it makes our job easy with the ball.
And it's, I think, care as well. Care for his teammates and care for Victoria, I think, stands out.
Yeah, definitely. Listening to your interview with him, you can tell how much he loves playing for Victoria, and he was very close with a lot of the guys that have recently retired. The Trav Deans and John Hollands of the world that was so passionate they were Victorian cricket, and Victorian edge is something that we speak about quite a lot. Having Simon O'Donnell come in and speak in pre-season was incredible, just to hear how passionate they were about Victoria. And we definitely don't want to lose that with, more and more franchise cricket coming up and, people talking here and there about, red ball being on the downward trajectory and T20 coming up. It's, for us, it's Victorian cricket is everything. And we know there's a lot of, Victorian fans out there. We have our loyal fans that come and watch each Shield game, but I think there's so many around the state that, check the Cricket Australia live app and just want to see how we're going. And we want to keep performing for them and performing for the past players as well, which, Ferg always preaches that.
Is it an advantage for you too? Obviously, your dad played for Victoria, so you've been in and around Victorian cricket for a long time. You understand the history of it. Is that an advantage that it's in your veins?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I never saw Dad play for Victoria, and he speaks about it a bit. I think the thing that stands out for me was when I came into the group, the team that we had was just ridiculous, and they were so passionate and they always won, and that they were aggressive, and that was just the brand. So as a young captain now, I just want to keep that going. Who did we have? We had Pete Hanscom was captaining, Pato, Tremaine, Siddle, Boland, John Holland, Cam White was around when I started, Dan Christian, just like a ridiculous team, but all just so, passionate, hungry, aggressive towards the opposition. I think it's that Victorian edge that I mentioned before. Just we don't want to lose that, and winning just sort of becomes infectious and a habit, and hopefully we can get back to that, place as a group.
Has not so much your relationship, but the professional relationship between you and Chris Rogers. So we talked about it before with you and Cam from a Renegades point of view, but from a Victorian, you spend so much time with each other, and you're different sorts of people, but I'm just interested in how you two work together.
Yeah, I think we've gotten better over the last few years. Buck is, as you say, he's a slightly different person to me, and I think that's a good thing. We challenge each other on, selection, different tactics on the field, but we've definitely grown closer, and, we'll often just, have a phone call around the game after a day's play, just check in. But he's a very intelligent person, and his brain's always, thinking about tactics or selection or whatever it is, and definitely helps my job just stimulating ideas and conversations. I think, more often than not, we come out with the best decision, which is great.
Okay, so before we let you go, what are we going to expect from the second 11 game? And is there a chance you would play at the MCG in the last Shield game, or you've got to hold it back and just, no, we just got to go slowly?
Hopefully the high performance staff don't listen to this. I'd love to play in the last game, but probably won't be worth the risk, just because the bowling loads are too high to get up. But the second 11 will be awesome. Good for me to work on my batting, and then I'll captain that, which is awesome. So Austin and Lazark, Tyler Pearson, who else is Mitch Perry. So very excited to see those two young guys bowl, and then excited to see Pez bounce back. And then from a spin point of view, Doug Warren, who keeps getting better every time I watch him play, and Tom Brooks, who's come down from New South Wales. He's a Param boy with me. Seen him bowl a few times. He's a very talented leg spinner. So haven't captained many leg spinners lately, which I'm really excited about, just to sit at first slip and watch him go about his craft. And then I think from a batting point of view, watching young Ollie Peake will be exciting to see what he can do. Harry Dixon's batting really well. A lot of our young batters, John Merlo is on fire at the moment. He's pushing the Shield selection, so hopefully more runs for him. Dylan Brasher, Liam Blackford, Jai Lemire, all these young guys coming through. Hopefully they can put their hand up and again, keep squeezing that Shield team and we find out who the best, opener and that top order is.
So no bowling at all for you, just batting?
I won't be bowling in the twos game, no.
Yeah.
No.
So and one final one on your batting. Do you still harbour a desire to be a top 6 batter for Victoria? Because we've seen it. We know it's there, but how do we get it on a regular basis? I'm not. It sounds like a bit of a criticism, but
No.
How do we get it going to be a top 6?
Yeah, I think I definitely still want to do it. It's probably just runs. Runs are the key. I think my technique's in a good place at the moment. I've only had 4 innings this year. Hasn't been a great start to the year. Done okay in the 1 days, but just got to do it now. Go out and do it. I did it well a couple of years ago. I think it's that mental stuff, that mindset. Obviously, I get a lot of short ball stuff, so just being really clear on my routines and self-talk every ball and just repeating that. And I do want to, I think, get to 5 or 6. Like, Ronnie McDonald he was a great number, sort of 6 and 5. He spoke about he had a bit of a slower start to his Shield batting career and then was able to, find his feet at Shield level and dominated for quite a few years. So, it's doable, and I do still want to get in that top 5 and 6.
Absolutely, it's doable. I've seen it. I know it's possible. Thank you for having a chat. Really appreciate it. I know it's been a frustrating time of it for you in recent times, but it's great that you look like you're out the other end of it now. But whether it's the Renegades or for Victoria, there's a lot of hope this year. And as captain of both teams, I think it's an exciting place to be. So hopefully the second half of the year is a bit less frustrating than the first half.
Yeah, well said. Thanks very much, Whitey. Appreciate it.
Will Sutherland, the captain of Victoria and the Renegades, joining us on the Vic State Cricket Podcast. We'll catch you again soon.